Hello and welcome to this rapid restoration of this Matchbox 19A MG Midget TD. It lasted 2 years in the range from 1956 to 1958. My example is missing its driver, portions of the paintwork, and is close to losing its wheels from the axles. It was the first conventional car in Lesney's series and came in either off-white or cream colours. And here is an MG TD on which it is based. This is a rapid resto purely because it is such a wonderfully simple casting. All it really takes is the wheels to be removed, along with the spare tyre on the back, and you have all of your pieces. Minus the driver of course, who is reproduced in cast metal. The model benefited from hand applied trim, in silver to the headlights and grille, and red to the seats. Red was also very occasionally found on the tail lights as well. But now to strip the paint. The MG T-Type were a series of open-top, two-seater sports cars made by British marque MG from 1936 until 1955. Known as the Midget, the TA replaced the P-Type, but was effectively an evolution of the model. The TB followed for a brief run in 1939, but production was curtailed due to World War II. The TC was the first post-war MG and ran from 1945 to 1950, when the TD, which shares the most similarities with this casting, was introduced. It was equipped with the same 1250cc inline-4 engine that was introduced on the 1939 TD Midget, though by now it was more refined. Approximately 30,000 TDs were made between 1950 and 1953, when it was replaced by the much more streamlined TF. The TF lasted for 2 years before it was superseded by the radically new MGA. Incidentally, the 19B MGA replaced this 19A Midget in 1958. Interestingly, in 1998, the intellectual properties, rights and trademarks associated with the MG TD were acquired by Malaysian firm TD Cars. TD Cars went on to reproduce the TD as the TD 2000, a retro classic car based on a modern platform with nearly all components uprated and upgraded. Now the trickiest part of successfully restoring this MG is the hand painting aspect, something I have historically not been fantastic at. So over the top of my off-white Tamiya TS7 racing white coats goes Tamiya X7 red acrylic paint. This is carefully spread over each of the grooved seats, while leaving a white central gap between the two. Any mistakes I make I will leave as a nod to authenticity, but so far it is going smoothly. It's worth noting that the reproduction driver is cast holding the steering wheel, which made a lot of sense as the interior section is actually quite simple. For the grille, I used my old method of brushing on silver paint squeezed out from a Pentel silver paint pen. The pen has seen better days and the paint is quite thick, but still does a good job. It's a bit more authentic looking than my usual chrome pen anyway. Reattaching the wheels, I'm sure to crimp the axles better than they were originally. The wheels were close to coming off entirely. The spare simply clicks back onto the back. And there's just enough time for some chrome on the axle ends. Lastly, my tan painted driver is fitted into his seat, ready to hit those twisty British B roads. Now this is how it looked to start. The wheels were close to detaching from the front axle. All the silver trim had been lost from the grille and the headlights. The paintwork was scratched and patchy. The axles were rusty slightly. Some evidence of white paint could be seen on the wheels, though that did easily scrape off. And most importantly, my driver was absent. So that's a summary of how the meagre Midget looked, and here it is now. The creamy TS7 white complements this casting very nicely indeed, without looking too harsh with a crisp icy white or aged with a more yellowy tone. My repro driver in his tan coat takes the wheel atop those reupholstered red leather hand painted seats. The wheels and spare have all been refitted and are now a lot more secure than they were previously. The axle ends have been brightened by first removing the rust via sanding and then coated in chrome. And that grille and the headlights have been hand painted in silver, quite authentically I think. Well, that was a whistle-stop tour of the MG T-Type and the 19A Midget TD. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please like, comment and subscribe, and support the channel via Patreon or YouTube membership if you can. But that just leaves me to say thanks for watching, and I'll see you again for the next one. Bye for now.